welcome, good morning. Happy Saturday morning. Happy Saturday morning cartoons from the Doodle Crew. We're coming back to you for another episode of this. Another time where all of us as grown adults get our butts up in the morning to get on stream in the morning on a Saturday like crazy people. So yeah, we're back. We're ready to draw some more cartoons. And the theme for today that we are covering is Edu-tainment. So this was, I like it because as we brought this up in chat and talked about it in Discord, it kind of became anything you learned from a cartoon. So maybe not specifically cartoons meant to be educational, but things that you learned from. So yeah, we're doing a whole bunch of different edutainment things. So as we always start, going around. So introduce yourself, where people can find you, and which cartoon you're doing. So Randall, if yours is working, I'll start with you. Okay.
So my name's Randall. I am a mostly digital artist. Today I'm doing pixel art, actually. My educational show is Totally Spies, because it educated me on the importance of looking for sales at the mall.
Heck yeah.
And you can find me, I've got my Tumblr linked on my name, RW Art on Tumblr. And I'm also Randy Limoges on Instagram.
Heck yeah. Totally awesome. All right. Sarah, who are you and which cartoon are you doing? And where can people find you?
I'm Sarah. You can find me on my website or Tumblr. And I'm doing a show I had to do, and Randall's going to be upset about it, Dinosaur Train.
I listened to the theme song this morning, and it was then in my head for the next hour. So, yep.
I wasn't allowed to sing any of the songs while I lived with Randall because I sang them all the time.
I can see that. Yeah, so people in chat, if you don't know Dinosaur Train, I highly recommend you pop over to YouTube right now and look that up because you are in for a treat. Yes, I'm very excited. All right. And so hopefully Kristen is working remotely, not even from her normal place, but she is still showed up and here for Doodle Crew. But we are going to give her a little slack because her internet is giving her issues, among other things. So yeah, where can people find you when your internet is normally working, and which cartoon are you doing?
Yes. Actually, I missed what Sarah said. It literally, I heard everything she said except what she was drawing. What show was it?
Dinosaur Train.
Dinosaur Train.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, if my internet cuts out, I am so sorry. I am trying my best here. So my name is Kristen, but I go by Kia just about everywhere, mainly Instagram and Tumblr is where you can find me. And today I'm doing Daria and because kind of sister cartoons, they were developed by the same people, and I couldn't decide between them. And I loved watching both of those shows and singing all the songs as a kid. So I'm doing Hysteria and Animaniacs.
Excellent. Nice. All right. And welcome back, returning guest, Mr. Aaron Springer. Who are you and what are you doing?
So I am Aaron. I go by Doc. You can find me at aarondocspringer.com or just go there. That'd be easier. I have other social media, but social media is kind of hard to do. You got to put forth the efforts. So I am doing Dexter's Lab because I learned how to speak French, but only only one French phrase, which is omelette du fromage.
I like it. Also just fun. It's just Dexter's Lab was just fun. I enjoyed that one.
Omelette du fromage.
And welcome back again, Idaho. Thanks for joining us again. Right. Where can people find you, and which cartoon are you doing?
I am Idaho, also known as the Whiffopossum, and you can find me on Instagram at the Whiffopossum, or just Whiffopossum, or on Twitch. I'm usually on my wife's Twitch because she is Squish Beans. And today I am doing WTF 101, I learned many things on this, like how horribly sexually deviant penguins are, and how terrible dolphins are.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah,
And all
dolphins are real
kinds
bad.
of just, I mean, I can't recommend you watch this. It will probably scar you, but it is on Dropout from College Humor people, and I do enjoy their stuff. So
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Well, thanks so much for coming back and joining us again. I'm happy to have you. So yeah, again, since you're here on my channel, you probably know me, but if not, I am a swan named Emily across the internet, all over the place. You can find me on Fridays on my own solo stream. Doodle Crew runs on this stream as well throughout the month. We have a few more dates planned with a few more fun prompts that I'm very excited about. And you can catch me tomorrow back again on this channel for the next Sketching Shakespeare, where me and Kruggles of the Protest Too Much Shakespeare podcast do some prose and some sketching, which is super fun. So yeah, and if you couldn't tell from my lovely outfit this morning, I'm doing Magic School Bus. And just for clarification, I'm doing OG Lily Tomlin Magic School Bus. I did not watch the new Magic School Bus. I was a little curmudgeon-y about that, so I didn't tune into the new one, even though it looked lovely. I want my OG Miss Frizzle. So I'm going OG Magic School Bus. And also for everybody in chat, since you hear us talk about it a lot, and I know I talked about it a little bit yesterday, every one of the artists on stream right now are all Art Institute of Pittsburgh alumni, and this crew especially, we are all at the college at the same time. So everyone that's on screen here are all people I met once I went to the school, and yeah, we've all stayed in touch after after our crazy time.
I met you
at
before the school. Remember, at the year before school, the
summer thing.
Yeah, the summer program thing.
It's still through the school, but yes, I did meet you earlier.
What happens in the summer program stays in the summer program.
Yeah, there really wasn't. It was nobody really other. I think it was me and you and maybe one other person that actually went back to the school after the summer program.
Yeah, I did 2 summer programs there. I did a weekend one the year before and then the week-long one the year after because I was an insane person. And I was like, you know what's fun? School in the summer. Let's do that. Don't do it, kids. Don't do it. Keep your summers. Don't give them up. So yeah, if anybody in chat wants to know stuff about the Art Institute, this is the stream to ask.
Yeah, we can tell you all about going to like how to get in touch with a defunct school and
the place that doesn't exist. It's fine. But yeah. Oh, so Sarah, I'm assuming this one is going to you. Dell asks, have you seen the new Dinosaur Train movie?
I have not. I'm going to apologize for fighting the machine here. Oh, it's stopped. I'm in the room with a robotic cat box. It looks like it's from WALL-E. It's a big circle and it rotates and tumbles. And I was like, someone's going to ask me a question while the robot is working. But it's done now. I have not seen the movie. I am behind on a couple seasons of Dinosaur Train. I was just thinking I need to catch up because there were characters when I looked at my reference that I did not recognize. Like the rival conductor. Apparently there's a rival conductor.
Ooh. Drama. So when you first did it, even though my brain logically understood that you said Dinosaur Train and I knew it wasn't, I immediately went to Infinity Train and got super excited because I loved that pilot. And I was like, it's not what she said. It's not at all what she said. She said dinosaurs. And my brain was just like, what? Take that information? Nope. Infinity. Good. Thank you. So Dell says his name is Thurston. And also Hebe says, rival conductor, that's not good conduct. I like it. I'm here for that humor this morning. Thank you. I appreciate it. No, I was thinking about, I mean, again, I've been a huge fan of Magic School Bus since I watched it as a kid, but between that and Bill Nye the Science Guy, there should have been so much more reason for me to be better and more excited about science. And I just never was. I was consistently bad at it from middle school through high school. And I took a few classes in college. And I think the only reason, because we went to an art school where it was just like, yeah, you have to take science, but it's fine. Like, just get it done. Just be fine. Like, that's the only reason I was good at science in college. Like, I should have been better. I had great role models. Just, nope, bad at science. Good at math, bad at science.
The only reason I was good in college, since we're getting the college ball rolling, was because of Randall. Thank you, Randall. You got me through so many of those classes. I even remember Randall, I like telling the story, Randall, so you're going to have to deal with it. I was going to take a earth science because it's easy, and I genuinely just like that kind of basic shit. So then Randall's like, no, you should take chemistry. Then we can take it together, and it's far more interesting. And I was like, I'm going to fail chemistry if I take chemistry because it's all math, and I don't do that. So he convinced me, and he bribed me with watching Princess Tutu on our breaks, and I barely passed that class. And it was because of him that I even attempted to, like, survive. Just saying.
Yay, Randall!
So thank you, Randall.
Yay,
Now you wake up in the night from a nightmare and you're like, balancing equations. Oh.
And I still...
I took physics.
Oh, I still have a little resentment against you being able to convince me. Not against you, against my weakness. That you were able to convince me to do that.
And I even ended up taking advanced physics, but that teacher did not
Sweet
teach
talker.
any of the math.
Oh, that's tricky.
He was like, okay, just all theoretical stuff because I'm not qualified to teach you the advanced math for this. Okay, cool.
I was excited about
Space
the
travel.
physics because the only reason I passed was because of my videography skills, not anything to do with actually knowing any physics. Like, I made a potato gun in physics class, and I made a 3D model of the potato gun and had like a really awesome theme song soundtrack to it. And then everything else there was like super rudimentary basic physics, which is like the potato took this long to get here. It traveled this far, so this is how fast it was going. And now a bunch of shots of me shooting things with a potato!
Yeah, so I'm with you, Kristen.
Actually, that's
was
kind
not
of
a chemistry.
Sorry.
I wasn't a chemistry person, even though people are like, it's all math. You love math. I'm like, it's not the same. It's not the same type of math. It's a lie. I was very spicy about it.
This is the mustache-wearing evil math. This is wrong.
Yeah,
I thought Aaron kind of brought up a good subject, which is how often did we... Oh, sorry. I have a little bit of a delay, so I can't tell when I'm talking over people. Sorry.
You just go ahead. We'll react to it if you go, and we'll just work it that way.
Mm.
I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to be rude. I think I have like a 10-second delay. I was mentioning that I thought Aaron brought up a good subject, which was how often did we find excuses to input our like animation, like knowledge into gen ed classes? Like ridiculous amount of times that I made something just look really nice with like a really cool presentation. I was like, yeah, but the essay was like, but we flew with the presentation, right? Bells and whistles.
Yeah, that's how you got to do it. You fool them with the lights and the glamour so they don't see the underlying structure. She's got 3 arms.
Yeah, I remember being a part of the physics club, which is laughable, I'm aware. But like the most exciting thing I did with that was we had a whole like designing like merch essentially for it, and it was all this very like propaganda inspired type stuff. So it looked like very like revolutionary, big block colors. That was the most fun. I remember having a really cool like lecture about string theory, and that's it. Like I remember the design part of it and string theory, and that was what I got from physics club. So I maybe missed some of the more important things, but that's okay. I also think it was very funny, and I would tell people, like, as in talking about the school and works that we did, you know, you've got this whole top row here. So Randall, Sarah, and I, who were all math tutors at college, and just funny because I genuinely enjoyed math. Also, the math we were doing in school, I would say, was not crazy intense. Like it wasn't super high level like calculus or anything. We were doing a lot of algebra, which is the stuff I really loved. So it worked out. But yeah, other art students not as jazzed about math as we were.
Yeah, no, math can suck it.
But think about how much you use it now.
Oh, I know, right? Like I don't even use it on Jeopardy. When I'm watching Jeopardy, I don't even use that knowledge. Like at least other things, you know, I'm like, oh, I know the answer to that because of this. No, they don't even ask math questions on Jeopardy. That's how useless it is.
Oh, I love this comment. Hubie Buffet says, "Fool them with the lights and glamour. I'm a horrible pun goblin," and I love it. Also, I recently did ADHD mental testing, and the math part of the session had me stressed. Yes, yeah, I'm rusty now, and so we totally bypassed and missed all of the like Common Core math that is coming out now, and that scares me. Like watching some of my students work on that, and I'm like, I don't understand what you're doing. And they're like, yeah, you just do this and this and this. I'm like, okay. I can't help you because I don't understand. Oh, I don't know if I can say this one. MQC? Math, the dreaded foe of every artist I know. Yes. Yeah, so my big thing was solving system of equations. I was the one who knew how to do Gaussian elimination. Like that, I remember that being like, this is the one weird thing I learned in high school, and I remember that nobody else learned. And why is it still in there?
I just know about Gaussian blur.
Yup.
That's the closest thing I know to Gaussian equations.
I know Gauss was a scientist that worked with magnets.
There you go. I wish I could remember.
It's all coming together.
One of the math teachers that we had who was like, he was a nice guy, but he wasn't a great teacher. And he would constantly write things up on the board that were wrong.
Wait, what? They're nice teachers at school? They're nice people that weren't great teachers at that school?
I know. I'm talking crazy talk, but yeah, number bonds. No, I have been. Oh, I'm sorry, Mayor Squish. And Del, you're saying number bonds, and I don't even. That's getting into like chemistry now with things bonding, and I'm getting chills.
I just remember I was able to fit behind the vending machine on one of the floors.
That was funny. That was just.
And yeah. I would hide there and scare my one buddy Miguel, who was like a former Marine. And I would always, I don't know why I thought it was so funny, but I would always like jump. I would always jump out and yell like Charlie in the Trees. and he would be like, "Oh, you got me." And then one day I'm walking down the street and he jumps out from behind an alley. He does the same thing. And oh my gosh, I almost die. I'm just like, oh, there's this giant, Italian Puerto Rican man jumping out, yelling, "Charlie in the Trees."
He's like, yeah, PTSD, not so funny now, is it?
I love him.
Moral of the story is Aaron was a bad person.
Hey, I was in his wedding. I will have you know, like, I still talk to him.
Was that before or after haircut?
Haircut?
Your haircut.
Yeah, your haircut.
I mean, That was before. That was before when I still lived in Pittsburgh. He lives in Seattle now.
Yeah.
Because, like, fancy people go to big cities and not big cities. Like, I don't even. It's early, okay? It's too early for this.
And you had to do it 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
so.
I know. Last week was a great, all up, ready to go. Where's the link?
Like, next week? Oops. Oh, Mayor Squish says, I once corrected my 8th grade math teacher, and I have never been as proud of myself since then. Yeah, yeah, okay, so number bonds. Apparently that's how Dell's offspring is doing them in kindergarten. Yeah, like, again, what I thought was cool about at least the algebra that we were tutoring is because you had enough of us who knew different ways of solving it, like being able to teach people who were struggling different methods to find the one that worked best for them. Absolutely a great thing. I'm all for that. What scares me about, we'll say, the current math education is they've moved into, like, this is the way that we do it, and there's not another way to do it. And if you can't show the work in this way, you don't get credit for it. And I'm just like, yeah, but maybe that way doesn't work for some people. Mm-hmm. Also, for all of the parents who have no idea how to help their children.
I understand Common Core. I don't understand how it transitions into algebra, because everything we learned and the way we learned it is to help us get into putting letters in there. Mm-hmm. You can't do that with Common Core. At least I don't see how you could.
Okay. Yeah, I had an interview with a high school student the other week, and she was asking about gen eds, and I was just like, oh dear. I don't know if here's what I can tell you about gen ed classes at art school. They weren't a priority. Yeah. We had requirements, but it was not a priority. Also, I was lucky enough because before International Baccalaureate came through my area, I had like honors classes and higher honors classes, and then like the college level classes that I could take in school and AP. So I had an entire quarter's worth of credits coming into the school that knocked out a lot of my gen eds, so I didn't have to take them. So I was like, I don't know how that works anymore because I haven't been in high school in a while.
Fun fact, I'm just now learning that I didn't realize as I'm working on pixel art that sometimes I cross my eyes to unfocus and see how it looks. So I'm like, oh, I bet I look really great this morning, like crossing my eyes like a lunatic.
I love it. Well, it's literally as we are animating or trying to draw characters, like we're making the facial expressions that our character is making. Like if you just watch us draw, we look like crazy people.
Yeah, I don't have my mirror in my new setup anymore. I always kept the mirror there to look at it.
Yep. Too funny. Just because you're too cool for school, Steve, doesn't mean that us nerds don't have to like it. I was never cool. I don't think I've ever been cool. I'm all right with it now. Yes, Andy Venter, you make an excellent point. Not actually crazy. We just look it. But also, I mean, for some assignments in school, we had to go out into the actual real world, like leave the campus of our school and life draw people that we came into contact with. So, an assignment would be, I said that in ironic finger
Yeah.
quotes.
Yeah.
There was a building.
Downtown.
We had a parking lot and a building. That's a campus. But we'd go out and we'd have to draw, 20 people sitting on park benches, 20 people waiting for the bus and stuff like that. And it was mostly fine, but people get a little bit weird when they catch you like staring at them and sketching furiously. So it was always like, try and be subtle, but then not be creepy as you're just like, yes, hold that. Stay for me.
Yes, you're my beautiful model.
Yes. It's like, can we just draw? I mean, I didn't want to, but I was like, could we just draw architecture? That doesn't give me weird looks on the bus. Okay, so throwing this out to everybody, so obviously, like, I still remember going out into the world and having to draw life-drawn people. What's something else? What's an assignment that we had to do that still sticks in your brain a number of years later? I won't say how many, but a number of years later.
A character and animation class.
The whole class?
Well, I remember that our whole class failed. They failed a big part of the assignment because that's the only reason why we passed was because everybody in the class failed it because she would Miss Love would make us do those notebooks filled with 20 angry broomsticks and 15 judgmental whatever and we had to fill and nobody in the whole class actually finished all the assignments to her specifications. So we ended up not having to otherwise.
Same class. We also.
Oh.
We also what?
Oh, that's.
I know. I'm very curious. I want to know what she was going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were in the same class. We were in the same final project too.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say I knew that at least one person in here was.
Can
in
you
that
guys
class
not hear
too.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
It just cut off for a second.
Yeah, because you and I did the because we had these. Oh. We had these sketches, that Aaron said that we had I think it was over 200 or 400 sketches that we had to do by the end of the semester. And then the instructor also assigned us an animatic that we paired off into groups of 3 or 4. And she assigned the groups and we had to create a storyboard video animatic. Very few groups finished that. Very few students finished the sketch assignment. We had a third assignment that was part of this whole thing that very few. It was a lot of work. The workload was very intense. However, it was mainly about time management. And I remember a lot of drama coming from other groups. Aaron, I think yours and my group, we were actually pretty cool. But I remember a lot of other groups having a lot of drama issues that I'm not gonna go into, but
well, I think you made a great point with time management, and that was what I ran into. Is I wanted to devote so much time to certain projects, but unfortunately, the workload that you described, if you were taking 4 to 5 classes a quarter, you were getting that same amount of workload from all of the classes, and it just at a certain point, I just didn't have any creativity left because I didn't get enough sleep. And there wasn't time to sit and marinate with an idea. It was just, I have to put something down because I have to get something out because I have to turn in this assignment. And that was frustrating. I look back now, it's oh man, I feel like some of these projects would have been really cool if we'd had a little bit more pre-production time on them to kind of work through and kick around ideas before we had to immediately get to the final thing, quote unquote. So, yes. Oh, so Jessie Betts says inside of your mind. Yep. Okay, so he goes on to say, I turned in a second Bristol board that was lined out to spec but totally blank. She berated the whole class, asking who did it. The quote I remember was, "Some of you didn't turn in anything. This is worth more than that. Who did this?" Yeah.
He was the one that did it.
Yeah. Are you shocked about that at all?
I'm a little jaded.
Yeah, a little PTSD going on.
Well, I'll say she definitely. So chat. We were
That's
talking
so
about.
funny if we all do like a airing our dirty laundry.
So there's one professor we're talking about who was a big part of the animation department, and I'll say, for my takeaway from it, it informed as I moved into education, especially art education myself. I was like, okay, I appreciate a lot of the technique that she taught me and a lot of the lessons I learned from it. I'm just going to choose to approach it in a different way than she did. So
save.
What was that?
Did everyone save?
Yes, everybody save.
I don't know if I can. Never used this before.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember so it was for history of animation, and we had to make a flip book on note cards. And I remember, again, this was so many years ago. I should let it go, but it won't. It just lives in my brain rent free. And I got an A- on the flip book. And the reason that I lost points is because I did it on the wrong size index cards. Like, it was supposed to be like the 3-inch ones, and I think I'd gotten like the 3.5-inch ones or something like that. And I was just like heartbroken about that. And like a note on the back of it, like, animation was good, but you really need to be better about following specs. And I'm just like, oh, I'm so sorry.
I remember, I think that the reason why I passed that class, like, I did okay. I didn't do amazing, but like, I got a good grade. Like, I think I got in her good graces, basically because she assigned us that that thing where we had to end up going and getting in touch with an actual animator in the field.
Yeah.
And I remember that she, you know, like, she kept saying over and over.
Oh, the
how,
animation
like,
history project.
Yeah, she was gonna fail people if they didn't get in touch with it. And like the person that I had tried to get in touch with, I could not get in touch with. Like, he just would not answer emails back. So I went and I got in touch with somebody else, like just a random Nickelodeon, I think it was a SpongeBob guy or somebody, and got his information. And then he ended up contacting the school asking about like what kind of opportunity, you know, like talking about maybe getting you know, like getting the animation students in touch with the people in his studio and stuff. And so like that kind of put me on the good graces period where she was like actually halfway nice to me.
Yeah, that, like, again, you talk about, that's a great
How
thing
hilarious
to
would
do.
it be if she... Oh, I was gonna say she joined the chat and then just like destroyed all of our opinions and like long-held beliefs. Like, no, I hated all of you.
She couldn't do that to me anymore.
Disappointments.
No.
I lost all. I'm not gonna lie. I lost all credibility. For
I'm not
her
saying it
when
would
I
mean it.
Yeah.
When I saw her husband's artwork, I lost all credibility for her.
Okay.
Like, it was, you know, it
We
wasn't
don't need
like
to tear people down.
Well, it was, yeah, it wasn't even that. It was just like that was kind of what she did, was tear people down. And then like I ended up seeing his stuff, and it's like,
And I'm not saying we have to do it.
yeah. I just wasn't a fan of his. It was much more conceptualized than actual like art. It was like performance art kind of stuff. Like it was like a stump with nails in it. I remember it was one of them.
It's log.
Yeah. But I remember seeing that, and I'm just like, I don't get it. Like, she's tearing us apart week in and week out. I never could justify that.
Well, and Jesse, you make a great point. I think she was very frustrated with us that we weren't as good as she wanted us to be, which I understand. I do. Like, I think, and it from a logical place to succeed in animation, especially at the time when we were in school, you needed to be at a certain caliber, and a lot of us weren't. What I think it unfortunately discounted was a lot of the opportunities that were out there in animation for all different skill levels. And I think it was very hard to kind of keep your self-confidence and your self-worth and figuring out your style as an early, like a late teenager or early 20-year-old as you're figuring this out. Like, it was a very tough expectation where I think a lot of us didn't know our art as well yet. And
oh yeah.
Well, and that was tough. That was a lot. That was a lot.
Yeah, they used to, well, like the Art Institute in itself would basically tear down anybody. Like, I remember especially her would tear down anybody who did any kind of anime or manga. Like, that style. She would basically, and that whole school for the most part was basically a big benefactor in tearing that. Like, if you did that style, they were going to try and tear it out of you, at least like until you got away from it towards the later quarters. They did not want you to do that style. Like, it was kind of like forbidden. Like, that was the bad style back then.
Wow, we're bringing up my traumas before noon.
Well, the joke
there
was no money.
Yeah, I remember, because Randall, you were real big into that. Like,
you're one of them anime kids, ain't you, Randall?
One of them.
Well, I mean, I was to an extent. I hadn't quite
Animus.
Yeah, but I remember he was real into it too, and I can only imagine what Miss Love or what Lady was like.
But she liked someone's art, and it was just a rip-off of Invader Zim, and she's like, "This is amazing! I've never seen it before." And I just wanted to.
But wait. Well, and I think so. What again? I'm coming from now teaching kids and anime being so much more a part of Western culture as far as art styling that, like, again, I 100% appreciate that you needed to understand basic anatomy. You needed to understand the structure of a human, how to do a head turn, all of that. Before you can bend and break all the rules, you have to understand them. I'm just disappointed that the path that was taken was, you'll never succeed with this art style. And it was just, no, you'll never succeed with rudimentary technique. If you can manage the technique, you can make the style whatever you want, but you have to get these core, like, solid drawing has to be a thing. Weight and movement have to be a thing, no matter what style you're drawing in. And, like, I think that's, as I'm looking back, many years removed from it, that bums me out, because a lot of us did come from being inspired by anime and manga, and to then be told that you can't do that, or that's not worth anything, like, that was really hard. And especially at the same time being told that you need to develop your own style and have your style identity. I was like, but that's what my style was, and now I don't know what my style is. So I wish that had been handled differently. Yes. Oh, Del makes a good point, like writing with your left hand. Yeah.
That's fair.
So Jessie Betts also says, I remember the one thing like that for me, we were assigned a project where we had to do a rendering in color, and everyone was colored pencil and mine was marker, and I got my sweet helping of validation at the expense of the rest of the class. He also said, my mom taught a semester of interior design at Art Institute of York, and she was just so deeply confused how the kids didn't know a lot of what she assumed were basics. Yeah, it was weird. Like, even though we had to go through a lot of introduction classes, I still feel like, even as animators, we should have taken a typography class. That was something that we needed, and we never did.
Yeah, I went back for web design for a little bit, and I took one. That was pretty helpful.
Yeah.
And web design was so frustrating because we went in just at the wrong time, where, like, it was like that thing with The Office where that Pam was complaining about, where we were using Flash, and we just learned how to do Flash, and then it morphed over to fireworks, and they got rid of all the Flash.
Mhm.
I didn't know you did
Yeah.
web design, Idaho. That's really cool.
Yeah, I still had a little bit of the in with my mom working there, so I could get tuition reimbursed. Or I don't know. It didn't really work out because I was trying to learn what I wanted to learn, and they're like, "Oh, you have to take Computers 101 again and learn how to send an email and use Microsoft Word." I'm like, I took this.
You have to learn Excel again.
Oh.
So eventually it was like, no, this is such a waste of my time.
Money, even though you were getting reimbursed for
Yeah.
it, that's still.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, my, scholarship, whatever you call it. Yeah. I had relatives that worked at the Art Institute. That's why I didn't have to pay. It's the basic.
Yeah, it's got a term, and I can't think of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Simkin. Welcome, welcome. We're talking all of the traumas of our higher education years. It's Saturday morning therapy with the Doodle Crew. You came for cartoons and stayed for the therapy. Well, and it's one of those where, so I tried
For the
to
traumatic
explain this.
reliving of.
Yeah, for rehashing of it. I wish there were times I could go back and approach projects differently, like with what I know now, which I know is what everybody says. It was just, I was so young and so green in school that I just didn't understand so much. And like things that the teachers would say to us, I was like, no, this makes so much sense. But my stupid 19-year-old brain couldn't understand what you were saying to me. And like, Aaron, when you're talking about like contacting people in the industry, that's incredible. And it being able to start that conversation, have that rapport, it's a great thing. I didn't know how to do that. And especially not over the phone and not cold calling or cold emailing someone. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And so like, I think that building on top of all of the like stress and fear over that, then trying to also like have to do it for a project, just remember being stressed for about 3.5 years straight. Just being really stressed. And funny too, because the person I ended up contacting was super, super nice and we had a great conversation. But like to get to that point was it's a lot. It's funny too because my person wasn't even an animator; they were a voice actor.
And nowadays you could probably get in touch with them on like Cameo.
That is weird.
Yeah. So he was attached to Hi Puffy Amiyumi.
Okay.
If you remember that show.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a voice actor, not an animator. So I don't know. Again, like I'm also realizing that you could literally just go through like the credits roll of each of these shows and pick out names and just be like, here's your person. Good luck. Whereas I assumed it was always a little bit more of a thought out process.
See, I'm looking back on it and I'm like, I really missed an opportunity to not contact the person when I didn't contact the person with my own name. Who does SpongeBob, and I'm just like, man, I missed out. Been like, hey, I'm you. You're me.
Both of us together.
I mean, you could do it now.
Yeah, I mean, I could.
You should definitely open
So
with
I
like,
have kind of
hey,
a
we have the
funny
same
story
name, and I
about
purposely didn't brand
contacting
myself.
people.
My animator was Phil Roman, who like heads an animation studio, and like I wasn't getting a hold of him.
Wait, did you say he was so Roman? Like that's so Roman?
No, Phil Roman.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, I was like, that's so Roman. I was like, I didn't know that was a thing. He was just so Roman.
So Roman. Didn't somebody in our class also have to contact someone who worked on Batman the Animated Series? I feel like that was in our class, but I don't remember who. Also, Kristen, you were going to say something before.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the delay is pretty problematic. I had a story about contacting someone. It was not for the art history projects, though. For that, I had Tim Van Wheelen Daly, and he literally just did a very, very short animation for a film festival, which he got placed in, and then he never did animation again. And I stalked him, and I even got his like college professor. So that was creepy. Where like I don't think you should be contacting this gentleman. He is not the type you want to talk to. Anyway, but that's not the story. The story was I did a side project, and for it I had to get licensing for music because I was also going to submit it to a film festival, and I had to figure out how to get the free student, like it's just for this project, it's not going to be for profit sort of, but I needed to do it legally. So I looked on the back of the CD case because CDs were definitely a thing back then, and I managed to find a number, and then that gave me to another number and another, and I finally got in contact with a secretary, and she gave this phone number. This situation, like I just need this person. And she's like, okay, well, let me put you in contact with fill an important person's name here. Like it was this dude who she made it sound like could just give me the paperwork. He ended up being the like president / owner of this entire record label, and as soon as I called him, because she gave me his personal number, this secretary, and as soon as I called him, he was like, how the heck did you get this number? And I had explained like, oh, like Teresa the secretary gave it to me, and she's like, I fired her 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
But he was very, very nice, and he did exactly what I needed. I gave him my email, he sent me the paperwork, he signed it, and he's like, now never ever contact this number again. And then he hung up on me. So he did what I needed, but he was super rude about it.
Yes.
And
Andy,
it was just like this super, well, I was in bed the rest of the day, like hyperventilating because I was so ashamed.
Oh.
Yeah, it's so weird now because you could literally like search on the internet and find these people and contact them and hit them up through Instagram or send them but at the time that wasn't the way that you could get a hold of people. So you're literally finding these people's personal contact information, be like, hello, you don't know me. We live on opposite sides of the country, but I would like to talk to you for my animation project.
Yeah, I can't get in touch with you on your Facebook / MySpace / Instagram / Twitter. I have to find your
Twitter
email.
didn't exist yet.
Facebook didn't even exist.
I joined Facebook in 2005 with my school email. I think maybe even late 2004. But at least 2005, I was officially on Facebook.
What? I thought MySpace was the thing then.
I mean, it was.
Okay. You were one of those kids that got in on the ground floor.
Yes. Again,
Me too.
I was so cool. Such a cool kid. Yeah, Jessie Betts, I rocked that flip phone for years. Oh, so MKUs? I feel like I should be saying that better. Says a bunch of authors have statements on their website basically saying, yeah, I don't have time for school projects. Here's canned answers you can use, or I would prefer you tell your teacher that they're disrespectful of our time. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, I don't know how well our teacher would go with that.
Well, did you just try harder? No.
Yeah.
He sounded mad and I hung up. Please don't make me do this. Yeah. And I get it. Like, I think that was also why it was nicer for some of us who didn't have like high up people. Like, the guy I talked to was like, "You found my name how?" And I was like, "I don't even know." And he's like, "Oh, that's cool. Like, let's chat about stuff." We ended up talking about Homestar Runner and the book series. It wasn't a series at the time, but the book The Killer Angels by Micah Shara, which he really liked. And I was like, "Oh, I lived not that far from Gettysburg," and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, this is a weird conversation.
Yeah.
It's fine.
My
Clearly,
guy
I'm
was.
totally fine.
I ran into a roadblock when I called Nickelodeon Studios and found out he lived in England.
Oh.
You just didn't try harder? Just go to England.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Also, for kids in chat, it was a lot harder to make long-distance phone calls at the time. And our parents paid for our cell phone programs. It's fine. Oh, college. Okay, so let's think of something happy. What's a happy memory we have from school?
Kenny!
Aw, yes.
Yeah, St. Neil was great.
Ketty and Zaner.
Ketty and Zaner.
Rob.
Yeah. I was a big Schwab fan. Even though I realize now how unbelievably obnoxious I was in his classes. I was like, thank you for still being nice to me, even though I did not deserve it, because I was an asshole. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. Now, do you think...
Free donuts whenever they had the open house.
Yeah. Anytime we got free food was dope.
Yeah.
I liked free food.
That poster show that they'd have like once a year.
Poster show?
Yeah, they'd like have this one company come in and sell posters in the gallery. You don't remember that? It was like
I
off
remember
the wall.
that.
I think it was like offthewall.com or something.
I remember that name, but I don't remember. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have any money, so I wouldn't have bought anything.
Yeah, I mean, I was always super excited because, you know, I was always looking for posters. And I remember my, like, posters were hard because I lost a bunch of, like, really cool ones when my roommates told the people that I was moving out on a weekend, and they boxed everything up and threw it away.
Oh.
Yeah, my roommates were not the best people.
Okay, you're also really bad at this. This was a happy memory thing. Focus on the happy memory.
Yeah,
part.
no, that's what I am. That's what I am. I'm doing both.
Yeah.
Be happy and
posters.
bad at the same time.
Posters.
Try harder.
Got to meet
better.
the guys who made Avatar when I first got to the Art Institute. They were doing the opening ceremonies. They did the speech and showed us about the show. It was like right before it started. It came out Nickelodeon. I don't know if it was in the summer. I think you guys started in the fall. I just happened to be one semester ahead.
I could have also totally been there and just flat out missed it because I was not good at things.
When Randall and I graduated, the commencement speaker was Mike
Up
Judge.
all night.
Oh yeah,
Mike Judge.
Speaker of King of the Hill and
Yeah, that's
Beavis and
awesome.
Butthead.
that's awesome.
That's so much better than the one I had. Ugh.
I didn't
Thank
even
you
have
for
it.
remembering, because I was so tired that I'm like, I don't know, there's some animator guy that was there. And to this day, I could not figure out who that was. And now I'm like, are you kidding me? It was Mike Judge, and I totally just like slept on that.
His speech was like a normal commencement speech, like, "Hey, go do stuff now. I'm an animator. I'm Mike Judge." It wasn't like you missed out on a speech.
Yeah, but I'm just saucy because, well, I graduated one quarter before Randall and Sarah and I think Kristen, right? Because I didn't graduate with any of our normal crew.
I graduated
for some stupid reason.
I know that I can't even remember when. Like, I think I graduated a couple quarters before people because it was like, there were a couple people that I knew, but it wasn't anybody that was in the same, like, because we didn't have a ceremony. They're like, come back next quarter for ceremony if you want to be commenced.
Like, I super won't.
Yeah, like, you're graduated now.
I was with Caitlin, and oh my gosh, I can't remember a couple of the other girls' names, but there was only 7 of us graduating out of animation. But the speaker we had he was an architect out of New York City, and his whole thing was like, he started the speech with, I'm gonna make it short, I'm gonna make it funny, and we're gonna get out of here. And then, like, I swear, 2 hours later, like, he's talking about, you know, how to open your own gallery in New York City and striking out as an artist. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, bro, we are literally all tech artists. Our goal is to go and become a part of a company. Like, none of this applies to us. Also, you weren't funny, and I want to go home. Please let me go home. I just stood for 8 hours in front of my booth talking to people. Let me go home.
Yeah, I remember.
I didn't go to my graduation.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah. I didn't want to.
I think I graduated.
I was already up in New York, and I tried to get the time off and couldn't. They wouldn't let me.
Oh, but happy memory of almost everybody here in chat is after I graduated, we all went to Joe's Crab Shack, and there are a whole bunch of pictures of us from that night, and that was super fun. And I was cranky because I didn't want to go because I was tired, and it was a surprise. And I was like, why aren't we just going home? I was like, oh, this is actually really nice. Thank you. You guys are sweet.
I remember, I think I graduated with, I think it was maybe Brian Chamberlain and...
Oh, Brian.
I think maybe you.
You as in me, or you as in someone else of the
you don't remember Eugene?
Oh, Eugene! It cut off. All I heard was you. And
No,
I was
that's what his real name was. His real name was you.
Yeah, but yeah.
So
Eugene.
I always called him you or Eugene. So, like, yeah, most of the time you. So yeah, like, and I remember there's a big controversy. So, like, Brian and I think maybe Mark Harmon was he had done a show too, and they ended up calling him back for one of the interviews.
Mark.
Yeah, they called him back for one of the interviews at you know how, like, at the portfolio review where everybody went to Oakland at Wendy's or whatever and basically just waited for them to call you back if you got an interview, and it ended up as horrible, you know, like a lot of people didn't get it, and it was awful because they ended up it was like a scam company that they got hired by. So
you're talking about Kaiser Himmel.
I
part of that group. There were being a scam company. Yeah, Mark Harmon. He got screwed over harshly.
Yeah.
Also, Saad and Asari got scammed by that too.
Yeah, there was that, and then I remember you actually went into a different company, and he actually went to Vegas for a couple years, I think, and ended up the company was basically not paying the people or something like that, and he ended up getting screwed out of a lot of work time. Like,
Aaron, I'm going to put you in timeout. You are bad at this happy memory game. You are not.
There's also credits.
You're bad at this game.
I didn't think it was still happy memory time. I thought it was just memory time.
Yes, but all of our memories are terrible.
Yeah, so what? We're in our 30s. Like, that's what life is supposed to be. We're in our let's complain about life stage.
Emily, talk about Ottawa. Ottawa.
Talk about Ottawa was super fun. So again, we talk about conflicting feelings
Ottawa
about
was
certain
fun.
professors. So the professor who gave me
I love
a whole lot
that.
of PTSD then also turned around and was like, what, you can't afford to go to this film festival? I got a teacher appreciation award and I'm going to pay for your plane ticket. And then I was like, I don't know what to do with these conflicting emotions. You've caused me so much stress and heartbreak, but that was an incredibly kind thing to do. My emotions. But yes, that was awesome. So in college, so probably, 2006? Got to go to the Ottawa International Animation Festival, and it was dope as hell. I was so out of my league. I was so afraid to talk to anybody, but it was ridiculously fun and met a ton of people. Actually met an animator who I still like have contact with to this day. Like I haven't talked to him in a while, but like I think we're still friends on Facebook, and I've got another one, like he pops up on my Instagram sometimes, and I was like, oh, like that was cool. But also meeting, oh gosh, I didn't enjoy his stuff. Oh, what was his name? Was it Bateman? What was the guy's name? Oh, he did the weird like hot dog demon-y type things, and it was like he did all of the advertising.
You're thinking Bill Plimpton.
No, it wasn't him.
Bill
It was
Plimpton.
Was it the guy that did the Pop-Tarts thing?
No?
God,
Like the evil Pop-Tarts that were always ate each other?
Oh gosh. All right, hang on. I'm gonna find it because it's gonna bug me. Maybe not Bateman. It was something like that though.
Like I should remember a hot dog.
Like they didn't necessarily, they weren't hot dogs, but he had that very specific style.
The hot dog style.
Yeah. Oh. But I'm trying to remember like anything. No, it wasn't Don Hertzfeld. I would have loved to have met Don Hertzfeld or Bill Clinton.
Yeah, Rejected Cartoons guy. That was who I was
thinking.
Yeah, Rejected Cartoons. I was trying to remember the name of that one.
Okay, so the Pop-Tarts guy was someone ridding him off. Andy Mentor, you were there too. Didn't you go on that trip? It was like, I remember we had the program for the whole weekend.
I was on that trip.
Yeah, like his art was on the front of it, and it was all those like, they were super not realistic. They were like painted. They were paintings of his own kind of like cartoon creator, our characters. I can see it, but I can't. The cranium guy. Oh, okay. Cranium artist. Gary Baseman. There it is. Andy Mentor for the win. Yeah, the guy's name was Gary Baseman. I was close with Bateman, but it was, yeah. He was a jerk face. That was my initial takeaway. But it was like his big celebration. So if you want to look up his art, look up Gary Baseman. You can see what I mean by hot dog demons.
Yeah.
But aside from that, got to watch, like, the whole festival is essentially you go and you just get to watch all different types of animation all day. And you could go to all of these different places. And like, I remember Kristen and Andy both being at like a picnic where we got to meet, and like, oh, we were putting together the recipe book where we were getting different artists to get
pumpkins.
Artwork.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the pumpkins. Yeah, the pumpkin carving thing. God, these are like recovered memories.
So that was the second Ottawa trip then, because there was an Ottawa trip before that we went on as a group, and I know because that's how Andy Mentor and I became friends. And then the book, like getting all the artists to sign the sheets for the book, that was the second trip. And then there was a third trip that I think happened after I graduated, or I just didn't go. And that's when they were like selling the book. So it was like sequentially there was a thing.
That's really cool. Yeah, I only went the one time when we were collecting the sketches. Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. So Andy Mentor said,
yeah, that was the second time that the Ottawa went like for AIP.
Yeah. It was fun. We stayed in a hostel that used to be a jail. And I have a t-shirt that says I've done time at the Ottawa International Hostel. So I'm here for it. Yeah. Also, if anybody in chat, I doubt it, but if anybody has not watched
the picnic was
cartoons,
the best part because
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. This is such a hard. I was going to say that the best part of the Ottawa was that picnic that you mentioned, Emily, because it was just a bunch of animators and they had free beer that they purchased for the picnic. I think it was company sponsored. And then they also supplied a bunch of pumpkins because it happened around Halloween. So it was just a bunch of drunk animators carving pumpkins on free beer.
Yeah, which now I'm just like, oh, that's amazing. I remember I got to meet the Happy Tree Friends guys who had hockey jerseys of their like Happy Tree Friend thing. And I was like, you guys are so cool. Your cartoon is so violent. That's amazing. Also, Project Kids Next Door. What was that called?
Codename.
Codename Kids Next Door. I got to meet those two, like the two main guys for that. Like we sat on a bus together.
Yeah, Angie and I got to see him for.
Yeah.
I never got to go to any of those. I never had the money to go to.
Angie and I had a couple drinks with him, and we met him back at AIP when he came for a visit.
Nice.
Festival at what was SIGGRAPH?
Oh, yep. Oh God, I haven't. Also, everybody save your work. Thank you, Hebe.
Thank you.
I literally haven't thought of the word SIGGRAPH in 12 years. Oh. Oh, I love it. Andy Mentor says, and then he came and did a keynote, and Kristen and I stalked him. Because really, at the end of the day, we were just all friggin' weirdos.
We did. We were not healthy. It was not healthy what we did in college at all. Any of it.
Here's a happy memory. Ronco!
Good job, Aaron. Very well done.
Getting better with practice.
So funny, again, in the roundabout way of the world. So because I knew Dennis Robinson in college, who ended up leaving and not staying, but he was good friends with Ronco.
I remember Dennis, yeah.
Yeah. So he went on to a different school, but he hit me up years later, and I designed the logo for his podcast. And so that's like how I got kind of like introduced to all of those guys. And they're the reason I went to Dragon Con in 2019 and then met a whole bunch of the people in chat and like got to know them. So like all through this very weird, like back in 2016, Dennis being like, hey, you do logos, right? Can you make me a logo? Which is kind of fun. And I like that. But yes, also like still getting updates from Andre and Dennis about Ronco. Okay, I don't remember this at all, but Jesse Bett says Ronco was the best at walking in heels in class. He deserved it. I was happy with second place.
Yeah, he put me to shame. I don't appreciate that.
And did we walk in heels? I just missed this.
Character and animation.
Idaho was really good too. I remember Idaho having a good.
Well, I can't remember her name, but she was the best at quadruped walks.
Abby.
Yes.
Yes. Abby was willing to commit to, we'll say, galloping on all fours down the hallway for us. Yeah, what? I think, because she didn't stay at school. She ended up going and being a security guard at some point, and then I don't know what had happened to her after that.
Yeah, because Kristen was working on like a short film for a competition, and Abby and I both helped her with that with like ink and paint, and like that's the last thing I remember doing with Abby, and this was years ago.
Well, and I still remember little, like, tiny little Danny who would call me Emo-chan. Like, again, lost track of her. I don't know where she went. I still know Jen, her and Jen, who were super close. Because she's funny, because she was actually from around this area where I am. And So like, I think again, still connected with her on Facebook, but a lot of them are just like, if we didn't stay all the way through school together or get connected at some point, like, I don't know what happened to a lot of our fellow classmates.
Yeah.
Remember Justin, who was in like 3 quarters with us and then was like, no, I'm not doing this?
Super tall, hunky Justin or Justin Hay?
Oh, no, hunky Justin. But
Hunky Justin.
Justin, I was very perplexed. I'm like, why are you at art school, dude? Like, what are you doing? No, he was a nice guy. Yeah, and that, but like, could never make enough money working all the time to pay for classes, but then also couldn't make it to class and do homework because he was working so much.
Remember Hunky James?
Hunky James and Justin.
James.
Hunky J and J.
Kai is a happy memory.
Oh, Kai is a happy memory. Kai is still doing art.
Yeah, he's still doing like big, huge oil paint, like psychedelic oil paintings.
Yes, Hebe, that is the correct takeaway. Hunky boys. Also, Jessie Betts asks Kristen, you remember the girl, Hockey, from color theory class? She disappeared like in the middle of the semester. Turns out I played D&D with one of her good friends like 10 years later.
What's her name again?
I think
He said the word hockey.
Hockey.
You might have
Maybe.
to
I remember
more.
a girl named Patches, but I don't know that I remember a girl named Hockey.
Amanda Patches?
Like the sport hockey?
Okay, just so you guys know, we sound insane. Like more than normal right now. We're saying the wrong words for names, and it doesn't make any sense if you're not insane like we are.
Yeah, I remember Patches.
Most people had nicknames that we would call them when they weren't like within earshot, like not mean names, but just like because names just did not compute for artists. We would be like, oh, that's Tape Glasses Girl, or oh, that's Patches, or like, oh, that's you know, that guy that looks like that other person that we know, but isn't that person. That was
Ranting
a
Sid.
Andre's bearded friend.
Ranting
Yep.
Sid.
Andre's bearded friend. Yeah, there was a nickname for Eugene, but it is not appropriate. But that's what always comes to my brain when I think of Eugene. Yeah, poor Eugene. He was such a nice guy. I was
He
like,
was awesome.
I wish I wasn't a terrible
He
human.
deserved better than us.
He did. He really, really did.
I remember showing up. So like, I'd pick him up for school sometimes, and I showed up at his house one time, and like, it was really cold, and it was the winter, and he wasn't answering the door, and I knew that he was going to be in his class, so I just kept banging on the door, and then he didn't answer. So I remember like the window right next to his front door was open, like unlocked. So I just opened it up and went into his living room and sat down and waited, and like his roommate hated me for that forever. His roommate was like, "You broke into our house." I'm like, "I'm just trying." I'm like, "Eugene," and he was like sound asleep. His alarm didn't go off or something. So like he would have been late otherwise. But yeah, I remember his roommate was not happy about that.
Casual B&E, like you do in college.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you gotta
How
get
about
people
Up All
one way or
Night?
the
Is
other.
Up All Night a happy memory?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So Jessie Betts says Idaho, the Dutch, Mexico. There's a bunch. Yeah. So for a very long time, I did not know the Dutch's real name. Yep. So Hebe says there's a cat that lives a street over with a wonky leg that I call Leggy. I'm sorry. That just cracks me up. Also, Oleander waves to Doc and says hello, everyone. Hello. Oleander. Welcome. Oh.
Her name is Vicky or Zoe. I don't know where the oleander thing came from.
It is a flower.
Thank you, Miss Frizzle, for that educational.
Yeah, I'm good at science. It's a flower. Got this. Nailed it. Oh, Lord. It's fine. But yes, Up All Night was a relatively happy memory. I know we talked about that a little bit the other week with, it's funny, I don't remember it being super fun for like getting work done, but like all of us super sleep deprived, like doing silly art projects, like that was a lot of fun.
Up All Night always had free food.
And they had snacks for us.
At the end of the night, there was one time there was a crate of like milk pints, like that you'd have in elementary school.
Yep.
And they were like, please take this because otherwise we're throwing it away. So I just left with like a crate of tiny milks, and we walked through Market Square, and we could see rats running between the buildings. Ugh. And I opened one of the tiny little milk cartons and set it down, and we took like 20 steps back, and the little rats were running out and dipping their little faces in the milk cartons and then running back into their rat holes. And that sounds like a terrible memory, but I remember being so sleep deprived and being like, oh, I just shared my milk with those rats.
Like, look at the happy little animated rats. Yeah.
You're like Cinderella.
They're very much like Cinderella.
Oh, that would be a good topic to go on to, is what is the worst that we've been sleep deprived, and what are some results when doing so?
Oh God. I'm trying to remember. Trying to think of which time in college I was the most sleep deprived. I'm pretty sure that's the reason I had that terrible panic attack that I did. So I'm pretty sure sleep deprivation contributed to that.
I'm not gonna lie, I was always like, I would find ways to get my sleep. I was never super sleep deprived, other than the like towards the end of the entire thing, by like going in at 8 o'clock in the morning just to use the computer render labs when nobody else was there, and just set up a render farm for my 3D stuff. That was probably the worst for me.
I enjoy what Jesse Betts says. He said, finally getting a thumb drive instead of a DVR was a happy memory. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Those fire wires to connect to that like big rolling cart where you could like capture like video game stuff. That was a happy memory. Oh God. Oh, so Jesse says, Up All Night at the end there, I had to decide to wait for the incline to open or walk up Mount Washington. Yeah, because it was literally up all night. So, but if you wanted to get home, a lot of the buses and inclines weren't running. Because why would you be awake at that time?
Stairs of Doom, I remember those.
They wouldn't take those steps. Like they were like collapsing.
I think moral
yeah,
of the
I remember Kristen and I went to an up all night, and we had class in the morning, like a Saturday morning class, and so we didn't even go home. We just went to Market Square at like 5 in the morning when they kicked us out, and we sat there for an hour, and then we went right back to the school when they let us in at 6 o'clock. And I remember standing guard while Kristen took a nap on one of the seats in the hallway.
Yeah, Saturday morning classes were the worst.
That was cruel. I wish
don't remember that at all. Wow. Okay. I know that. I am a little... What?
Welcome to therapy, where we dig up your well-forgotten traumas.
Oh, and then we get to look at the kitty.
I took advantage of Randall a lot.
She's going to walk away, I think.
I owe Randall my life, like 10 times over in college.
Yep, I remember Friday nights when we were doing Zombie Club.
I survived.
And Sarah was like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to put all these people in a comfy room, and then we're going to turn the lights off, and we're going to watch a movie. And I said, I'm going to sleep on the floor. That's what I'm going to do. Oh, sweet baby. Aw. That is right, Mayor Squish. Cat butt. Oh, what a sweet baby.
Gadget.
Oh,
Gadget Hack Wrench from Chippendale's Rescue Rangers. He's my supervisor today.
Oh goodness. Also, Idaho, I love the pose. It's just too fun. She's so excited. Also, you gave her better teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So many of those zombie movies, Sarah. You're like, did you enjoy it? And I was like, yes. For the first 6 minutes that I was awake, I enjoyed it very much. I wake up at the end and be like, hey, good movie. Like wipe the drool off my face. Like, that was fun. It's fine. Again, talking about being sleep deprived.
I feel like there was a time you like fell asleep on a bunch of coats during a zombie club day.
Yeah, coats or backpacks, literally anything so that my head wasn't just on the floor and I was out because I was so tired. But I wanted to be there. Spirit said yes, body said no.
I didn't blame you.
Yeah, I think the most fun I had was I definitely like passed out immediately as the movie started, and I woke up at one point when the zombie was fighting the shark. I think because a lot of people were making a lot of noise, and I was like, "Oh, look at that! That's cool. That's the scene she told me about." And then went back to sleep.
That's a good scene to wake up for.
Yeah. All right, I think that part is. Were any of you ever sad that we didn't have like a campus to actually go on, or like sororities or fraternities or anything like that? We'll say more the traditional college experience.
I've had that. I had that experience before.
About it. I bragged about not having sports teams.
I was sad we didn't have a mascot.
Yeah, I would have liked to have had a
We have
mascot.
the
Or an
T-Rex
alma mater.
I mean,
Oh,
we
yeah,
sort of
sure.
had the T-Rex. We didn't have it wasn't part of any of the logos.
Yeah.
It wasn't like
You
official.
couldn't buy merch with him on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to WVU before I went to the Art Institute, so I got that experience.
Yeah, I think I would have had a better appreciation for certain things if I had maybe just spent like a year or so at a community college or somewhere else and then transferred there. But you couldn't stop me. I just wanted to go, and like an insane person.
Yeah, I was always hanging out with these, so one of the kids that I went to high school with ended up going there, and that was how I kind of went. And so I was always hanging out with him and his friends in game art, like from game art. So I was never a part of a lot of the animation up all night stuff because I was always too busy hanging out with those other kids. That's one thing I kind of miss is that I missed a lot of the memories and stuff because I was too busy hanging out with other
The community stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like once we got to a certain point, like the majors didn't cross over anymore, and that was sad. So like people that you'd had class with, you all of a sudden weren't in class with anymore. And Jesse Betts says, "Are you sad that you didn't do college?" I mean, I got to watch Community, and that was a decent substitute. I think I was sad. One, I mean, again, like the frantic, manic push of going all year round. Like, I wish we would have taken summers off or had longer breaks in between, like just a little bit to slow the pace down. But being able to take like fun other classes and not having everything be so much only in our major. Because like I hear people talk like, yeah, I took this like crazy like theory of movies or theory of film class. And I was like, that sounds awesome. I didn't have that option. Like you took what was in your track and that's what you could take. Yeah. And that was it.
Mm-hmm.
I had like 2 or 3 classes out of the entire thing that were like, you could decide.
Like storyboarding. I felt that the storyboarding that the video got was better.
Yeah. I took the storyboarding by the video game class, and I gotta disagree on that one, at least from the one guy. Like, it was like that's something that I still feel like I would benefit if I had a I'm not apt in storyboarding at all, and I never was, and I did not learn anything from the storyboarding class because half of the class he literally just put on Clone Wars. And he was just like, yeah, check this out. Well, then
that is 100% the instructor because I didn't have a guy.
Yeah, it was a game art guy.
I actually had animation. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
I took the animation storyboarding class, and it was so not what I wanted to do that I asked if I could take any other storyboarding class that was offered, and I actually just like sat in on it. I didn't get credit for it, but yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Teacher. It depends on the teacher.
Oh, it definitely does. There are definitely some teacher things. But yeah, that was really disappointing because like that's something I still to this day would love to have done is like a good storyboarding kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I don't remember who I had for storyboarding.
I had Pianati.
Oh, I must have had Pianati then. Right? Because I think I was in your class.
Pianati was a good AIP memory.
Yeah.
I ran into him years later at Home Depot once, and I was like, hey, I remember you. I was like, it's Fran!
He was doing the life drawing at CMU, so I would see him like every Sunday for a while.
Oh, Jessie Betts, we took storyboarding? Yes, we did. I still have my little... I did a thing about penguins. I don't remember why, but I did. They were all shaped like eggs, and that was my storyboarding project.
Yeah, I remember being a little let down by the storyboarding class just because it wasn't a bad class, you know, like we did what he expected us to do. But I don't feel like I feel like there maybe should have been more storyboarding, like a second storyboarding class later in the degree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because I remember looking at like seeing all the stuff from the people who took the animation storyboarding, whereas like I was in the game art one because that was the only one available. And the animation one was so much more involved as opposed to the one I was in. And I was like, man, like I feel kind of like I'm missing out because mine it was almost as if it was a class that was just like half-assed, where like all these other animation people had like these storyboards on top of storyboard. Ours, I think the most we did was we drew like 6 or 7 storyboards, like the entire, and then we like basically passed them out and then wrote some stuff, and then the rest of the time was just watching cartoons and stuff. Like it really wasn't anything, which is, you know, something now I'm still kind of trying to learn how to do.
Well, and I think that brings up a good point with there was a lot of stuff
so curious what storyboarding you sat in on.
Where like we would get the introduction to it and that first class where we learned stuff, but like that was just my kind of like, okay, this was round 1. That was the rough draft. Like I need a second revisit of this to actually start to really learn these skills and understand it more. And again, you talk about the breakneck pace of which we moved through stuff. Like there really wasn't time. So I remember getting to pre-production when I'm close to getting to graduating and like having to go back and kind of relearn a whole bunch of important things about storyboarding for that, because I just hadn't really kind of gotten it into my brain.
Save. Everyone save.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. And so Jessie Betts says the shift from quote unquote this class doesn't matter to this class matters a whole lot is a very blurry line. And yes, it was not very clearly communicated. Like, I think the idea was that like everything that you take is super important, but it was tough because, you know, at the time I was still holding out on becoming a more traditional artist, either doing 2D animation or something like that. So like I was putting a lot of weight in those, and then I didn't realize like I kind of skimmed on some of my 3D stuff, and then so much of the second half of our major was all focused on 3D that I was like, I should have been better when we were starting this, because now I'm lost. But
yeah,
so didn't want to do it.
I wish we would have had a second color theory class that wasn't like general color theory, that was like color theory for film or color theory for animation, because it's very different when you're doing a painting versus setting up shots.
Yep. Well, and I remember like it was a Bambarak. Like I liked her and she was great, but it was definitely a color theory class for like intro, but also for like graphic design. And it didn't always, like you said, translate into the film side of it and what we needed for that part.
Yeah, like I remember a lot of the classes that we had, like our first and second quarter.
I got the marker guy.
Oh, yeah.
Naughty. Talk about PTSD.
Yeah, I remember doing a lot of the stuff that we had like the first and second quarter. And it was, you know, it hadn't translated into stuff of what we would do. So for a lot of people, especially for me to an extent, I didn't know exactly what, like how it was going to be used. And so I wasn't thinking of it in those terms of like, okay, you know, all I remember is a bunch of gouache and learning how to mix gouache and then never using gouache again.
Oh, gouache. You baffled me so.
And the amount of money that we had to spend on art supplies in addition. Like, I had boxes and boxes of those markers afterwards.
I still use mine.
See, mine all dried out.
Gotta take care of them, Aaron.
Well, nice. I mean, it was good until my basement flooded with because, and then, you know, poo water got on them.
Ew.
So, fun story about gouache, because they didn't teach us anything. I don't know how many of you guys knew this. I did not. That you can water down gouache to achieve a watercolor effect.
No.
Because, you know, they always used it in school as like a very opaque medium.
Yeah.
Which is what I use like when I do cell painting. But I was watching an artist recently, and she primarily works with gouache, and she waters it down for some parts to like blend things out. And I'm like, holy cow, you can do that with gouache?
What?
Well, like what's his name uses gouache? Alex Ross. All of his paintings are gouache.
My friend Walt uses gouache all the time.
Well, who did you say, Sarah?
My friend Walt.
Oh.
Uses gouache all the time.
I miss it. Like, I think, again, I just recently got back into doing some watercolor and stuff like that. Like, I would like to, like, play with it again. But the same thing. Like, I didn't understand all the stuff we were doing, and we definitely missed some big chunks of it, I think. Mayor Squish also says, Randall, teach me your pixel art sorcery. Yes. It's eye crossing. That's what I learned, is that you have to cross your eyes.
So, just a little backstory here with the pixel art. I started doing pixel art with my perler bead stuff that I would do. And I actually did like a fairly large piece for Emily one year for Christmas of one of her
still
characters.
have it. I still have it.
So, but yeah, for the perler bead stuff, you know, it helps to have things in a manageable size. And I was making some coasters for people. And then when I started doing that, that's when it kind of like branched out a little bit. And so today I'm working in a 64 by 64 pixel grid.
But yes, sorcery. Did I draw that on the wrong layer? I did, because I'm a dodo. That's fine. So Jesse Beth
It's like
says,
instead of a swear jar, artists need to draw on their layer draw.
Yes. No, you're not wrong about that.
So
he says, I remember my second color theory class was watching a classmate get asked to justify his green-purple scheme and then really condescendingly explain that combination is meant to evoke revulsion. Also, a ton of Marvel characters. What up, that green-purple?
We really needed more on audio and lip sync.
Secondary color scheme.
Nothing, yeah. And
Yeah.
as far as, I was surprised to see some people just learn it by themselves, which I should have done. Figured we were eventually going to learn it.
I think that was the thing, and I try and explain that to students that I talk to or people who ask me about my college experience, and it was not only were we still in somewhat of the infancy of the internet and finding ways to find tutorials and teach yourself. Like, you had to be really good at like Reddit forums and deep forums to learn about ZBrush and stuff like that. And I just wasn't. And I also didn't understand how to teach myself at that point. Like, I was really good at going into a class and having a teacher teach me, but to seek out the information myself and figure out how to do that, I just wasn't good at. And I remember like people who would come and talk to us who are working professionals saying that, you know, yeah, I messed around with this at home and taught myself this. And I was like, I don't understand what you're saying though. But like, how did you do that? And I get it now, but also like I can go over to YouTube and type in, how do I do this specific thing? And at least 3 videos pop up like, here's how we do it. Like, so it was different.
I remember me and Ronco, that's how we figured it out, like ZBrush, because he ended up buying one of the Gnomon Workshop DVDs, and then after class, like me and him and like 2 or 3 other people, basically, we projected it up on the monitor, and we all were kind of watching it and following along with it.
Yep.
And that was how we ended up doing it, because like the school didn't teach it for a long time, and then when they finally did, what's his name, Hans ended up getting in touch with me to teach the teachers how to do it, because you know they just needed a crash course. Like it was like Zayner and Ketty and I think Catazone and maybe a couple other people were in there. But yeah, they just needed a real quick, like they had a good understanding of it, but they needed a crash course on some of the specific things to like ask questions. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I know how to use it. Like I could show them how, like if you want. And he's like, yeah, you know, we'll pay you as a teacher and blah blah blah.
Nice.
But yeah, that was just us after school and learning to sit there and how to interface with it and stuff.
Yeah. Hebe Buffet says, I used to love message boards. I was so afraid of them for so long. I didn't understand. Jesse Betts also says, I always kept watching Ronco learn everything himself and mystically thinking, they're going to teach us this. That's why we're here. So optimistic. They must teach us. They wouldn't just let us, like, leave us. It's Yeah, but also, Jesse, I'll tell you one of my favorite memories
They're
of
not
you
just
learning
gonna
stuff
leave us, are they?
is we were sitting in class and you fell asleep during the lecture. I think it was Ketty, and literally getting done, and I took extensive notes, and we got done, and you woke up and you're like, so what are we doing? And I told you, it was like, oh, okay. And you just started doing it. You had slept through the whole thing and you just started doing it. And I was so mad at you because I was like, seriously? I took 45 minutes of notes and I barely understand. And you're just like, yeah, I got it. Mm-hmm.
Some people be like that.
Yeah.
I remember, because I remember going in and like it would be, especially for like some of Ketty's classes, earlier classes, like the lighting class and stuff, since it was his first quarter. I remember it was like me and Ronka were in a class. I think maybe Andre and Eugene were, no, Andy Dabrowski was in there.
Oh.
And Eugene was in there too. And I remember he would like give us a scene to light, and we started taking his basic scene and we started building on it and kind of building our own like worlds to light it in. And then a lot of the mediocre kids started hating us really bad because we were causing them to do a lot more, you know, like you could tell what his original ideas for homework was, which was just take this scene and light it, which would be like a 20-minute thing. But like we were making it so we were sculpting our own things and making our own worlds. And it ended up, so then like the next week you have like maybe a quarter of the kids or half the kids have just the standard scene that's lit like how we wanted it lit, and then the rest of it was like, you know, the like I remember Andy made like an airplane hangar, and I remember I made a kind of like an underground bunker or something. But like the kids that would come in to class like 20 minutes before class started and just kind of try and crank out the artwork and stuff, and then when we would critique it, we would, you know, all the kids that were already there that had been doing it, like we knew who those kids were. And so when it got to the group critique stage of it, we'd just be like, man, like it's almost as if somebody came in like a half hour before class started and just tried to crank out a piece really fast and get it done. But,
yes, Jesse, like the Venture Brothers, you do learn in your sleep. It's very obnoxious.
Which reminds me of one of my favorite stories of being in the character and object class with Emily. And we had to do, and Kristen was in that class too. And so we had to do the Midsummer Night's Dream illustration for the final project.
I was?
I'm pretty sure you were.
Yeah.
Also, I trust Randall because his memory is excellent. Mine is full of worms, but he remembers stuff accurately.
Yeah, and Abby was in that class with us, and Corey Zielinski, I think, was also in there.
Yep. Ronko was in that one.
Yep. And so, final project, I actually was working on finishing it up literally as class was starting, like sitting next to Emily, furiously rendering with my markers. And then we went around the class and did the critique. And she came to my piece and she's like, I really love this one. You can tell by their rendering that they did not phone this in at the last minute. And I'm like, gotcha, bitch.
Joke's on you.
Snap, snap.
No, I remember that one because vividly. So we had to put, so it was on like an 11 by 14 piece of Bristol board. So that kind of sturdier paper that you can marker on really nicely. And we had to pin them all up on the big like cork board and all critique them. And Ronko came for one of mine. And I was like, please don't. I am not emotionally stable enough for you to critique my artwork like this. And for the one and only time, the professor disagreed with him. She's like, actually, I think that one's really good. And of course, in my brain, I was like, oh! And if I could have just fallen to the floor and like shorted out like Stitch does, I probably would have. But I was like, this is the only time. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So funny you bring up that project with the
I don't remember those. Oh, sorry.
with the Sketching Shakespeare I've been doing, we did a scene from Midsummer Night's Dream, and I found that artwork. Like, I found all of my versions of it, all my different copies, all the different things.
Mm.
So I have it, and I was going to release it as like a special on my Patreon to do a side-by-side. Because it's like, here was a project that caused me much mental anguish.
That's what I've been trying to do. I was looking for stuff that I did like in high school or back in college to like redo as a little project.
Heck yeah. What were you going to say, Kristen?
Yeah.
Magic class. I distinctly remember that not being anonymous, that it would be like the instructor would say, okay, whose is this? And then they'd have to like, there's mine. And then we'd all just tear it apart. I remember the critiquing as a group, but I don't remember it being anonymous. I remember like everyone knowing, no way, this is yours.
no.
Am I wrong in that memory? Because it sounded like in your description that it was anonymous. Like
No. Ronco knew it was mine. He just didn't care, which is fine. It was just, I was not okay with it. I was like, please don't do this to me. What have I ever done to you? That was fragile.
I remember anytime Ronco, because he was so good, would compliment me, that I would just like not know how to handle it. I would like afterwards just like sit quietly and be happy because Ronco said one nice thing about something that I did.
Yep. Also, chat, this is just
Ronco was in a different league.
Like, he was just a fellow student. He was just very talented. And
yeah, I remember some of the like when you the one, a couple pieces that I remember of his was like he had that the one where he insert himself into, I'm trying to remember what movie it was. It was like a black and white, almost like the Godfather type movie, but like he was in the background. I think it was him and Andre were in the background, and he was like dancing like a Bollywood star.
As you do.
Because he was obsessed with that Bollywood dancing with the different colors. I can't remember the guy's name.
Chanak.
Yeah.
Oh, that's still in there. Don't you worry. I still remember the dance. Can't remember a lot of other stuff, but that's in there. Yeah. Oh gosh, I wish it wasn't. I mean, it's delightful and I love it, but I wish
my favorite memory for Ronco, like as a description of him, was our it was a 2D animation class. I remember Randall and I in it, and he asked Schwab, he's like, okay, what is the longest animation you've ever had any student for this class? And you know, he threw out a number, and Ronco's like, I'm gonna beat it by 50 cells. And he, gosh dang it if he didn't do it. And it wasn't like the most beautiful animation, but it was long and it was detailed. So that's just like, yep, he just wanted to challenge himself. He was self-challenging. I think that's what it was. It was less like show-offy and more just self-challenging.
No, at no point did I ever think he was like a big showboat. Like he cared a lot and he really wanted to be good. There's also, you know, a reason that he went on to work for Blizzard. Oh yes. So I remember they did like what, that big gladiator like arena battle that was technically gorgeous.
Yeah, that was us. That was me and him and who was it? It was Andre that did the rigging.
Yep.
And then I think me and Eugene and him did the modeling.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we did that whole, and then I did the music, but it wasn't very good, and so he had one of his friends like kind of take my music and make it better.
Oh, thank you, Jesse Betts. I remember working on that.
Happens.
Space battles.
Yeah, we had the stupid fans that we had to like clone instances of for the gladiator thing and have them like cheering and stuff.
I helped you with that. Corey and I helped you with that, and you had t-shirts made and you only had one left and you looked at both of us and you just threw the shirt at us and said, fight over it. And I just handed it to Corey because it was like a dude size shirt. And I'm like, you have this.
Cat.
Baby. Which is funny because Corey was.
Oh no.
Very small. Oh no. Save. I don't know. I think she's probably sleeping.
She knows she's internet famous.
I do think they know. Look at the face, though. Sweet babies.
She just wants to help so much.
Mother, I help.
Not my cat. This is my friend.
Oh,
I'll go home and Lucy will be upset because I smell like other cats.
Like you cheating on me, Mom? I smell you. I smell where you've been.
What's her name?
Yeah, I remember. I don't think I have it anymore because I think it fell apart. But we made the iron-ons on our zip-up sweatshirts for our final project.
I think I finally. No, it's folded in my closet. I did keep it.
I definitely a ton until it was basically falling apart.
Yeah, I retired it.
Oh god.
Rinzel and I refuse to talk about our final project. We're just too traumatized.
Hers was the
Don't
best.
do drugs, kids.
Still not ready.
But yeah, ours was pretty bad. And we could not have finished it without Emily. I have to say she was a lifesaver.
I think we had I remember at one point, and even from back then, we had a folder that had just the textures of the arena, and I think that folder was like 6 gigs.
Oh my god.
And yeah, that was, especially for back then, that was a monstrous amount.
Yeah, trying to save some of that stuff or have backups, it was still early on in external hard drives and having a lot of space. You had to get special order larger size thumb drives because so many of them weren't big enough for us to transport these projects.
Yeah.
Oh god. And I realize how old we sound when we say things like this, but it was really a thing.
And you had to plug them into the wall.
Mhm.
Yes.
Andy Mentor says that shit was dark. Yes, Andy. Yes, it was. Yeah, they went dark for that final project. So without bringing up too many painful memories of that, was that the plan to try and tackle something that was more serious, or was it just something that kind of evolved into that?
Which one?
For Curb.
I think it blipped on my end. What's the topic?
How
Curb.
did your final project become a final project?
Oh, we're talking about Curb. We knew that we wanted to do something serious, and I actually remember having a meeting at Jane and Tony's house on Washington, and all of us sitting in a circle we don't want to do too new, we want to do something emotional, we want to do something that is different, and we also want to have gritty textures and play with that kind of stuff. And we hit on drug abuse. I don't remember why, but none of us knew anything about it, and we had to ask people.
So the reason that we settled on that was because we were trying to come up with a topic that we felt a lot of people could identify with, that they've experienced in some form of another, through a family member or a friend. And we said, well, you know, a lot of people have struggled with drug addiction or know someone who has. So we want to tell a story that kind of relates to that.
See? Memory.
Mm.
I remember we had a lot of research though because we didn't know a lot about how that like treats the body and how a person like tripping. Like I remember that we found a few people at AIP that obviously partook, and we like interviewed them like, hey, so what is it actually like going through that?
Yep. Also, guys in chat, just remember we were all humongous nerds. In case you were unaware that we had to ask other students, like, hey, IDT department, like, what's it like to take acid? Tell us more. It's fine. Oh, yeah. Yep. AIP had a crush on Cumbo. He was such a little guy, too. I remember finally, we're nerds. Right. We're nerds. Definitely not still nerds to this day. Yeah, but now it's cool, Andy Mentor. Now it's cool to be as nerdy as we were, as we are, right? Yeah, it's fine. I'll never be cool.
Okay. I think I'm done.
You're done?
I think I am done with mine.
Want to show and tell?
It's okay to do backgrounds.
Aaron, do you want to show and tell?
Sure.
All right. Show the class what you've done.
Okay, so I did Dexter yelling at Dee Dee to get out of his lab, because you know that's a constant kind of a thing in that show. I mean, I don't really know what more to say about it. Yeah,
I like his little mad fists.
Yeah, he's got little squishy jelly beans, and. You know, I threw in some highlights and shadows, even though Dexter never had highlights and shadows.
I like it though; it fits. It fits with their theme. Also, that amazing tile floor that just went forever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to you. If you want to keep hanging out with us, you are more than welcome to. If you want to get on with the rest of your day, you're welcome to outro and send you on your way.
I think I'm going to go ahead and head out for today.
All right, so where can people find you?
People can find me on the internet on my website at aarondocSpringer.com. That's probably the best place to reach me because that's the one that I actually check because it goes to my email.
And are you, I can't remember if I asked you last time, are you currently open for commissions?
I am always open for commissions. The weirder, the better. Hit me up.
Also make sure you hit him up for your fan fiction. Doc is very curious about your fan fiction.
Tell me all about it. I want the weird stuff. I want the dirty stuff. Just hit me with it.
We do the weird stuff. Well, cool. Well, thank you. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Thanks for. Hopefully, I didn't bring it down too much.
No, you redeemed yourself. I think we'll let you come back. Well, cool. Well, thank you. We'll see you later.
See you later.
Bye.
All right, Idaho. Did you want to finish up an outro too, or did you want to?
I was still hanging out.
Okay.
I was going to start on something new, but I am kind of done with this. I think.
Yeah.
That's about as much as Professor Foxtrot floating space, because backgrounds are not my forte. She's just being her weird, wacky self with her weird science pen.
It's very Doctor Who and Sonic Screwdriver, so I like it.
It's been a while. It does have that influence in the show. Like she has this technology that clearly shouldn't have. And it turns out that she's like an escaped criminal who's just trying to teach. She just has an enthusiasm for teaching students.
It's so weird. I can't relate. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, it turned out great.
Yeah, I want to do it in my style instead of the original style.
Heck yeah. Right? Me thinking about Doctor Who, so weird. Hey, speaking of which, if you want to listen to me talk more about Doctor Who and talk to Mayor Squish about it, you should check out Crash Test Pilots and their podcast, because the most recent episode is all about Doctor Who. So you should definitely check that out. Heck yeah. Anchor.fm/Crash Test Pilots. It was fun. I do like Doctor Who. I think, in a weird sort of way, like, even as we're all talking about all this different stuff from college, like, I kind of like the fact that despite everything and all the craziness, like, we all still do art, and we do a lot of different types of art, and we've taught ourselves a lot of different things and kept with it.
That's very true.
But also, you know, when Jesse was talking about it, like, there was a lot of times where I don't think I would have been, I don't want to say as okay. Like, it helped a lot to have this group of people who had a shared experience. Like, talking to other friends who went to other colleges, they're like, wait, what? And I was like, oh, you don't understand what 11 weeks of really intense psychological like breaking down is, and then having 3 weeks to recover and then go back and do it again. So
it was 3 weeks. Sometimes it was a week.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah, it was a 1 to 3 week. Roll the dice to see how much time you get in between having to go back and do all of that again.
Yeah. Jeez, yeah, you're right. Do you ever wonder how we survive? Like, I don't know, man. It's
constantly. I constantly wonder that.
That was also the quickest way to piss me off, was when my Point Park friends would complain about something like, oh, we don't get enough time. And I'm like, shut up. You don't even know.
You don't even know.
Go study for your test, you nerd.
You don't know what time is.
You don't have to spend 10 hours sitting over a drawing table.
Yep. So Mayor Squish in chat, if you ever wonder why I have so many Gilmore Girls quotes memorized so well, is because I had them on DVD and I'd literally just pop them on one disc at a time, and I'd watch through all 4 episodes while I animated. And as soon as it meant I had to switch the disc, that also meant I should get up and go to the bathroom, and I'd switch the disc and I'd put on a whole nother thing and I'd animate for another 4 hours. And that's what I would do for days. That's what we did.
Yep.
I watched Pirates of the Caribbean.
That sounds like a healthy coping mechanism.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, super healthy. It's not going to leave me with any lasting issues, I'm sure.
Yep, that was me and Kristen with Sailor Moon.
Yep. Thank you, Randall, for letting me borrow the Sailor Moon DVDs.
It's also where I fell in love with, like, it's not even, like, it was well before, like, Skrillex and stuff like that. Oh, I'm sorry, I just read Jesse Betts' thing. This is also the reason why he has so many Gilmore Girls quotes memorized. You're welcome. My gift to you. But, like, that just, like, kind of ongoing, like, monotonous Tiesto techno, like, just putting that on in the background and just going, and like, it super doesn't bother me to listen to like 8 hours of it where other people are like, why are you still listening to this? I'm like, what? Are we listening to something? Was it? It just wasn't silence. That's all I could tell you. It just was just not silence happening.
Yep.
Oh gosh, what was his name? James? I think he was a game art student and would like run.
Who?
I remember Sarah Newmeister and I were friends with him, and he was in the tutor lab sometimes getting tutored, but he would run like a internet radio thing. It would just play different Tiesto mashups and everything. I don't even remember his last name. Oops.
He was roommates with somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, because he wasn't in our major. Like, I didn't know him from that. I knew him from somebody else. I wonder if I knew him because of Franz or Rob. Hell yeah, leak spin and hamster dance. I can still do Ayeva's polka for hours and not be sad. Also, when that new like viral video came out of the Indian drum version of it, and you've got the little cat bouncing, and I was like, it's back! It's back!
It never goes away.
Never, never. I'll never quit you. Yep. Yep. So good. So good, Ayeva's polka. I love it. With Loituma, the band. Why? Again, also my deep, deep love for the band Ozone and being so, so thrilled that their entire CD was on the student drive at one point. So I had the entire, like, all the MP3s of that, like, CD of theirs that had the Numa Numa dance on it. Like, I was like, I'll listen to the shit out of that. Oh, so good.
Can we put the student drive on our list of best things about AIP? I got so much stuff, and that's student drive.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got really, really sad when I started to hear like people were using it to mess with other kids and like delete their projects and stuff like that. I was like, no, this is a happy sharing place. This is not a place for evil. Get out of here with that.
If I knew who that was, to this day, I would punch them in the street. Like, that is the meanest thing ever.
Yeah.
Well, I just remember, like, someone telling me, like, just make sure you don't use your real name on there because people will search it and, like, mess with your stuff. I'm like, that's awful. Advent Children. Heck yeah. It was so pretty. It was so pretty.
I remember saying, gosh, I even remember maybe this was Jesse that said this is like, that one lily has more polys than I'm ever going to see in my whole life. I just like, yeah, that's right.
Too real. It's too real. Oh, man. What else I got on here? Like candy corns. I don't know what they are. Well, again, I think it was like, again, we were all students of, Napster and LimeWire and Kazaa, and the student drive was like the better evolution of that because you weren't necessarily like you weren't going to get viruses. It was just all like, again, all the nerds put all of their stuff there. And I remember I would literally pull up a search bar for it and I would just type in .mp3 and then just wait for all the MP3s to populate and copy them onto either burn them onto CDs or copy them onto jump drives and take them home. Yep. Oh gosh. Is Advent Children really coming to 4K?
Yep.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. I don't know if I'm okay with that. That feels weird.
And I'm just like, do we really need that? Because it's already been on Blu-ray with an extended version. But then again, it's also Square Enix, and they're going to keep milking it as long as they can make money.
Heck yeah. Those characters will never die. Wink, wink, wink.
Have they finished the remastered game yet?
Oh, say that again?
Have they finished the remastered Final Fantasy VII? The first part came out a year or two ago.
I don't know.
It came out a year ago, and it's still just the first part. But they're re-releasing it for the PS5 now with enhancements.
Oh. And hence,
you can have a new character scenario for Yuffie.
Aw, Yuffie. Oh, Hebe says, I have it pre-ordered at GameStop for the Steelbook. And then this adorable little face. Oh. Even though I already own the PS4 version, also with Steelbook.
Oh, yeah. Hebe has a problem when it comes to those Steelbook editions of things and collector's editions.
Being called out, Hebe.
Hebe knows.
I still remember the amount of agonizing I did over picking up that $100 Batman Beyond collector thing. I still kick myself for not doing it, even though I did not have $100 at that point. But he's not wrong. I just pre-ordered the $200 edition of Tales of Arise.
Yep. As soon as my friend Steve messaged me and said that they opened up pre-orders, I was like, guarantee I will hear from Hebe later today that it's already been pre-ordered. We have our priorities.
Why it's dangerous to now have the adult money, because I can do adult money things with it. Also, tangentially, it works, because speaking of new video games and watching the new Pokemon Snap coming out, Andy Mentor, I love your Pokemon starter series. They're so stinking cute. Oh, I love them. They make me happy. Cute. Also, again, I've mentioned it before. I will mention it again. I totally don't understand the style and how you're doing it, and it's sorcery, and I love it. And I want more. So, and I like it's number 3 out of however many I do until I'm tired, and I can appreciate that. Jesse Beth says, ugh, I'm to the point now. I'm to the point where I now have to buy a house to put things in. Yeah, that's a bummer. Ooh, working on Chris right now. Yes. Nice. Also, again, as we've been talking about college and stuff like that and all the people we knew, like, well, it's not everybody. There is a high percentage of us who still stayed in art and are doing art of some sort, despite the best efforts of the world.
It's an uphill battle.
Yeah, there are days. Yeah. It's like, why did I do this? That's right. I love it. I do love it, right? I do. I think. Maybe. Most days.
I'm insane. That is what it all boils down to. I'm kind of masochist.
Yeah. Just keep doing this over and over again.
You to say is when the first quarter students would first show up and we're like well into like our 12th quarter and it's like, oh look, they still have hope in their eyes.
Look at them. They're so fresh and so new. And I'm just like, get the sleep while you can. They're like, aren't you like 19? I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's fine.
Because you look like you're 40. I know.
I'm aware. I haven't showered in days.
This is what character and object does.
Oh, gosh. Just you wait. You'll understand soon enough.
Run! Run while you can!
I would be very curious, though, to talk to other people who were there around the same time as us, who were in different majors, to see what it was like. Like, I know we picked a very hard one. I'm aware of that, but also, like, was there the same level of insane stress happening in the other majors, or was it just, did we just get real lucky?
I think I'm done with two. I'll do the bonus one.
Bonus, yay!
Yeah, I was ready, and then Doc was like, "I'm going to show," and then Idaho showed, and then we were talking, and I was like, "Well, instead of interrupting, I'll just make another art."
I like that. Do you want to show now?
Or share. This one, share.
Hooray! Oh my gosh! Yeah! Look at how cute they are!
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
I promised myself I wouldn't sing.
Oh, I love that though. That, like, the shape that you got for, like, the sun background and everything, like, it works so well. Oh, that looks so cute.
For 2, I also didn't want this to be the main one I did because it's not fully a cartoon, but whenever you said educational, I instantly went Blue's Clues.
Steve.
Steve went crazy bald, and that's why he left Blue's Clues.
I know.
But I saw pictures of him, and I'm like, no, you're rocking it, dude. I'm all about that.
No, he looks good.
I have several types apparently, but I specifically have a skinny, short, bald dude type, and he like perfectly fits that.
I got feelings for those educational nerds. Like, they do it for me. Oh, I love it. That's so fun. Well, that's awesome. I also think that your dinosaur train would make an excellent sticker. So.
No, I feel like I need to be better at the sticker game.
I can teach you my very rudimentary things that I know. But yeah, should we outro you, or did you want to stay and hang out?
I guess I have a going away party to go to in like 30 minutes, so maybe outro's good.
Okay.
Even though I want to hang out.
Nicole says, yes, more stickers. Yeah. Honestly, again, mine is totally tied to the fact that Sticker Mule runs sales. Like, that's why I can make it happen. Were it not that case, then I would not make them as much. But yes, so where can people find you, Sarah?
On Tumblr and on my website, sarahwilldesign.com, because it's punny.
Yeah.
That's my name, Sarah Will.
It's me. I am Sarah. Very cool. Yeah, and I don't have it pulled up. I don't remember which one you're on next, but yeah, we'll see Sarah again soon.
I think it's old art. I'm a little nervous about that. I have to look for old art, and I'm like, oh no.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh no.
We're just picking a whole different type of trauma. Yeah. Well, this is awesome. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for making cool stuff, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Bye.
Oh no. And then there were 4. All right. So yeah, I say if you guys are close to being done with this, we can also
lost
wrap up.
my cord connector.
Oh, also Jesse Betts. We have not talked about Hello Boss or Has Been Hotel. I only will say within the last 6 months watched the Has Been Hotel thing and was absolutely blown away by it and immediately followed them on all of their things. So I'm very curious to see what happens with that. Because it's insane, but really fun.
It's really fun. I was late to the Has Been Hotel / Hell of a Boss game, but then when I found them, I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly the sort of humor that I need at this very moment in time. And I know that, like, there's some issues about it, but I do genuinely love a lot of the work they're doing and the crazy animation that they're doing, and it's just so glad that they got serial making a TV show. They got like picked up, I should say.
Yeah. Well, I remember stumbling across it and being like, oh, this is kind of weird and everything. And then they opened their mouth and I was like, oh, I'm sorry. This is super irreverent. I'm in. Tell me more of this crazy show. But...
So, oh my gosh. I want to show my iPad battery is going to die, and I want to show at least what I've. However, the program that I use to cast is not working now. Wow, just throwing everything at me. Okay, computer, that's fine.
Tell you what, though, it worked better than I thought it was going to. For all the tech issues you were having earlier, it really came together pretty well.
So it would work on a better internet that isn't in Hoboken, Ohio, and on a computer that isn't from the 90s. So, you know, yay. But I'm just grateful that I even had a computer to use, because otherwise I don't know how I would have done this.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you got to hang out. Since your iPad is dying, did you want to outro?
I am really going to try to get this program working so that you can see the casting. So then afterwards, I might have to.
Okay.
But if I can at least get this program working, then I can outro with something to show for it. Well, or what I might do is just not be able to draw anymore, but I can still stick around if you'll have me.
Absolutely.
In all of my delayed speaking glory.
I thought I'd try to do Bob Ross next.
I was just the problem.
He's so happy. I love it.
Doing his happy trees. I had an idea that I almost went with instead of this, because to do all of the PBS, not animated, but educational people, Bob Ross, Lamar Burton, and all them, but draw them as the X-Men.
Oh, that'd be fun!
Yeah. It would have been a bigger project too.
Oh, absolutely.
I have the spoons for that. I don't know. Maybe now I would have the spoons. I think doing this has a. I didn't think I'd get through the one whole project and want to do a second one. It's good to have that kind of inspiration once in a while.
Yeah, heck yeah. Yeah, I know there's some days where I'm just like, I am ready to do all the things. And the other days where I'm just like, I can maybe accomplish this one thing. Oh. Jessie Betts said, did you see Bob Ross now has magic card art credits? I did not, but that's interesting. I also, again, since you're already on Twitch, if you ever want to tune in, there is a channel on Twitch that broadcasts Bob Ross just episodes all weekend, and it's amazing. So I highly recommend that. I put that on in the background a lot. Oh, look at you with your fancy things, Randall. Fancy Randall being fancy.
Oh, are you talking about me trying to do a CRT effect?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
My wife and I have a little guilty pleasure. We like to put on Bob Ross and just yell at him for every choice that he makes. For no reason. It's hilarious to us. To like, oh, come on. Why would you use that color? Come on. Ghosh, are you serious?
Cadmium blue again, Bob.
Look at your life. Look at your choices.
You get out of here with that vermilion. I don't want to see you around these parts.
But he always comes through. Yeah.
He does. He really does. Yes. So I think that's in a weird way, a good roundabout summary of how I wish some of my art education had been. More like Bob Ross believing in me. But, now I get to use that as my inspiration for teaching. Oh, I see a loading screen on Kristen's monitor.
Oh, you do? Okay, because I can't tell what it is you guys see. So I was sort of hoping that you guys would eventually get to see what I'm actually working on.
Hooray!
Because that would be nice. Because I realized that what people are seeing is probably like very, very delayed from what I actually have up on my screen.
Well, I think we got it. Let me make you larger size so we can see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks great.
Let me come out here.
Oh, yeah.
So this is, for those that might not know, this is misinformation from the Hysteria cartoon. And she is, as her name implies, like a speaker, and she's probably the best part of the Hysteria show. I did want to draw a big fat baby on fire running across, or else being like chased by a like anthropomorphic version of the COVID virus or something. Just, so this is just kind of giving you Hysteria in a nutshell if it was going to be doing 2020, because that's what they do. But then I also had a little time. So on top of doing the 2020 for Hysteria, I did, and gosh, I hope my computer doesn't wig out when I try to do this.
And
I wanted to do all three of them. Right, and we're walking. My favorite thing was her little like UN speech. She always had a good UN speech. So also, I don't know if it has updated.
Fat baby on fire might be my favorite thing said during this stream.
Big fat baby needs to change it. Always like
okay.
Lucky Bomb.
Looks like looks like my screen is still very delayed from what you guys see. Oh my god, you're updating. Come on, guys.
You can do it.
Like, I literally don't know how to make this go any faster because I already closed and like reopened the program, and I guess what I could just do is hold it up to my webcam. Wow.
No, you're good.
You're
good.
It's so janky. So janky. Because if what I see happening on Streamlab is happening, that's like a minute ago for me. Oh my gosh. So I'm that delayed. This is what you do. Yeah, I might just hold it up to my monitor. Oh wait, there we go. So now you guys are seeing.
Oh, there's a character.
Yeah. So I know that it'll eventually show up, but oh my gosh, where's my camera? There's my camera. So whenever it shows up, because I already have it up and it's completely disconnected from my computer now.
There he is.
Wow, this is funny. Anyway. I will go ahead and just make this bigger and put it. Yay, OBS works. Okay, so that is, okay. So that was the other one, and I wanted to do the other siblings, but at least I have that one. And I don't know if it's flipped or if it's correct.
It looks good.
So there's my little corporate cash grab. Because they did the new like season on Hulu, so I just thought it was funny to make fun of it.
Yeah, no, I like it. Also, he's got great like pose.
Anyway.
Yeah, that pose is great.
Yeah. I would love another season of Hysteria.
I want to finish to do the other. Right? I would love another season too. I'd like to finish this, but like I said, my battery is at 10%, so we're gonna see how long it goes. I'm gonna die like men today.
But I think really,
Kristen, do you have an external battery?
Even with tech issues, that shouldn't stop you from doing art.
I like that. You brought it around. Thank you. You made it seem like I was trying to teach you something. It's a lesson.
Edu-tainment, baby.
Thanks, Emily. You totally validated my jankiness today.
All right. Oh, goodness.
I think I'm good on mine. I'm calling it.
Okay. Make you big. Beep.
Yeah, so speaking of old technology, obviously I can't perfectly mimic it in Photoshop. Usually when I do it for video games and stuff, I have filters on to kind of mimic that CRT effect.
Yeah.
Just to like blur it out a little bit.
Mayor Squish says, sorcery. No, that looks awesome. No, I think it looks so cool. I also, again, we were talking about this last stream with going with really crazy colors, and you went with lime green, and it totally works. And I love it.
Pow.
Pow. No, it's fun. Now I just really want to watch Totally Spies too.
Did you know that there is a movie and it's actually pretty good?
No.
Yeah, you should look it up. I watched it on YouTube a while back,
found out
and I
about
was
that.
like, holy cow, this is actually pretty good.
I would watch that. I enjoyed that show. Like, it was so much better than I think it should have been. In a weird way. There you go. All right. So, yeah, let me rotate my canvas so it's correct, so you guys can actually see my phrasal.
Aw.
Speaking of stickers, I have a Miss Frizzle sticker already, but I was thinking of maybe making an updated version. So, Carrie in the bus
Aw.
and Liz.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, because she can lift a ton of weight according to the cartoons, so she could easily lift that bus.
Yeah, no, she is remarkably strong, and I like it. Always more stickers. Yes. Awesome. Well, very cool. Well, we'll do.
So that bus
final
can change
outpost.
size.
I like to imagine she's just a giant. But yeah. Thank you, Mayor Squish. That's me. You can find me across the internet at @one named Emily. You can also find me back here again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Sketching Shakespeare. Yay, watch me draw more stuff. Yeah, and if you are actually interested, I know we talked about it a little bit. If you would like to see @one named Emily's first go at drawing Shakespeare back from college, hit me up, let me know, because I will put that on Patreon behind like a $1 wall, because that's all that art deserves. But maybe, yeah, I definitely, when I was Nicole is also right. I do have an Etsy if you'd like to get stickers from me. I do have those up. Some of them are humorously not safe for work, but I enjoy them. So if you want to support me there, you can support me there too. I've been actually pretty good about getting things out to people. And I have new stickers that I will be putting up there pretty soon. But yeah, all the stuff. So, well, we still got Kristen. Kristen, you want to tell people where they can find you?
Yes. So I am Kia Creations pretty much anywhere, but mainly Instagram is Tumblr is where you can find me. Hopefully when technology is working. For the next stream, I won't have these issues, promise. But yeah, come look for me. I am just drawing for fun. I don't yet have any sort of store stickers up, but maybe in the future. Fingers crossed.
Yay!
And Emily,
And
I
Idaho?
love that you drew the dress you're wearing.
Heck yeah!
Yeah.
Dressed for the occasion. Yeah, Idaho, where can people find you?
I am Whiffapossum on Instagram. You can also find me on my wife's Twitch channel, Squish Beans. We should be doing some Switch playing tonight with our new Elgato.
Yay!
And yeah, I'm working on a YouTube channel, which is not up yet. So that's pretty much what I focus on most of the time.
Heck yeah!
Thanks for
Randall?
having me.
Oh, thank you for coming back and joining us. This is fun. Again, also thank you for, spending 2 hours reminiscing about the Art Institute with us.
Mhm.
Yeah, and Randall, where can people find you?
They can find me in the chat. Mayor Squish just shared me a little while ago, but also RW Art at Tumblr and Randy Limoges is over on Instagram, where I will seldom post art, but often post selfies.
Hooray! That's okay. We like your face.
Hooray!
Always more face. Yeah, so thank you. Thank you, everybody in chat. Also, thank you to Jesse Betts and Andy Mentor, fellow Art Institute of Pittsburgh people coming and hanging out with us and sharing our trauma, which we appreciate. We're basically a support group for each other at this point.
Yeah.
But no, thank you, chat. As always, you guys are awesome. You make these so much fun to do and hang out and create art for you guys. If you want to find any of us or want to find out more, definitely hit up at Doodle Crew Draw across the internet. Facebook and Instagram have all of our posts of art that we work on stream. And it's fun, like I said, because it's delayed a little bit, which means that we can actually get our stuff done in time. You can also head over to our Linktree, so linktree.doodlecrew, to find out any specifics about any of the artists that have been featured on here. I'm hoping to extend that too and start getting more of the guest artists up on there. I just need to get information in Nicole because I'm bad at doing stuff on time. But yeah, if you want to follow us, if you have suggestions, this awesome suggestion from today actually came from Dell, who was in chat and in our Discord, threw this out, and I thought that was super fun. Also, again, any excuse I have to wear a Miss Frizzle dress, I'm going to take. So yeah, if you want to send us prompts or do stuff like that, hit us up, or even just other fun stuff you'd like to see us draw. And as we've talked about it a few different times, many of the artists you see on Doodle Crew are open for commissions. So if you would like something in the style of an artist on stream, hit them up or contact me and I will get you in touch with them and send them money because these people are awesome and they deserve it. So thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your Saturday, and we will see you again next time with the Doodle Crew. So bye.